Alright guys, as promised, here is how I blow dry and curl my hair on like a regular basis. At this point I've brushed it and it's just kind of been air drying. So what I do, I'll get out of the shower, and while I'm in the shower I'm not really like being super rough with it. Like I'm making sure that I'm getting, you know, lathered and washed, but I'm not like, you know, having a party in there. I don't know. So anyways, I get out of the shower, I towel dry it. I usually wrap it up in a towel to like get all the excess water out of it. And then what I'll do is I take this Young Again oil by Kevin Murphy, and I put probably about 10 squirts in my hand. I've already done it, so I'm not gonna do it, but I do about 10 pumps. I'll split my hair in half, and I'm putting it in about this much of the bottom of my hair, just really kind of saturating those ends. I think especially here in Utah, our hair gets really dry just because of the climate, so I'm really like soaking those. I would say 10 pumps. And then what I do, and this is before I've brushed it or anything, I'll section off. I have 2 rows of extensions. You can kind of see I sectioned off. So this is my bottom row. So I'll section off my 2 rows. I'll take the top row and I'll just kind of wrap it up, clip it off. And then I take the Kevin Murphy Shimmer Shine and I'm squirting that on the hair. So about 4 squirts on each side. And I always split my hair in half. It's just easier to work with. So then I take just your normal classic wet brush, and you're gonna start at your ends. Always start at your ends. I've already done this, so it's, I mean, I guess I should have done that, but it's pretty smoothed out right now. But you're gonna start at your ends, get that tangled out first, and I'm like grabbing it pretty firmly and brushing. And then you're just gonna kind of go over it until you feel like it's pretty smoothed out. Back here in the back, where my weft's probably about 7 to 8 pieces deep, you always want to make sure that you're brushing that out very thoroughly. I always start with the classic wet brush when I'm brushing, and then to get out those like finer knots that don't want to necessarily come out with the wet brush that you get with extensions, I've been using their Texture Pro brush for extensions. I don't know what it is about this brush, but it like is amazing. The bristles are like rounded. I don't know, you can see all the gross hair in there, but for getting out those like finer knots and like getting right up there by your weft, it works so good for smoothing that out. So you're gonna do that, so on and so forth. Like I said, I already did it, so they're out, smoothed out pretty good. I let down my 2nd row. I clip off my natural hair, and then you're gonna brush it. This one needs a little bit more, so. But I always start with the first wet brush, and then I go to the Texture Pro. If you don't have extensions, then you probably won't need this unless your hair gets really tangly. But I'm working from side to side. Okay, and then this is already brushed out. So I didn't post about this product, but for finer hair, I really, really, really enjoy it because it doesn't like weigh the hair down a ton. But it's the Unite Booster Spray Volume Spray. So I spray that, just directing it at my roots. And you can be pretty generous with this, especially if you have fine hair, because it's really lightweight. And I'm just spraying my natural hair, so I'm not really getting it on the extensions. I think with extension hair, less is more when it comes to styling products. So I just kind of sprayed that in my crown, directing it at my roots. And then what I use this before, after, during, all day, every day, but the Living Dry Volume Blast. Shake it up. You're gonna do this kind of the same thing, just directing it right at your roots. And I'm taking my finger and I'm taking sections going back. probably about an inch. You're gonna do that on that side. And then really back here in your crown area, getting that. And like I said, not really directing it on the extensions, just my real hair. And I'm gonna kind of like just get it in there. All right. So then what I'll do, these have been air drying for a while. I don't know, you can tell they're pretty just like damp. I like to do that with the extensions. I think it helps them from drying out and makes them last a lot longer. Another thing too that I wanted to talk about before I started blow drying is I have 18-inch hair mixed with 22-inch hair, and I think that contributes a lot to like how much volume I'm able to get and the blend and like the layers. And that's why I think that they end up looking so natural, is because I mix the two. And I'm always adding usually 2 to 3 pieces every other move up. And it just kind of depends. Sometimes I add 22, sometimes I add 18, but I'm mixing old with new hair, and I think that's what gives it that really good blend. They're also custom colored and all that jazz, but yeah. So I'm gonna go about blow drying now. So I'm gonna section off my top row along with my real hair. So you kind of like think of it as like I just have 2 rows. Some people wear 2 in a mini. If you don't have extensions, this would still be beneficial for you. So if you don't have extensions, what I did with the product on the top of my hair, you would probably want to do that through the top half of your hair, just where you're gonna want the most volume. But for extensions, just kind of direct it on your real hair. So I'm sectioning off my top row, leaving the bottom row, and I'm just gonna kind of twist it so it stays out of the way and is up high, and clip it off like that. I got this clip at Nordstrom Rack for like $4, and it's the best clip I've ever owned. Imagine that. Okay, so Dia, let me just untangle my cords here. I use the Babless Pro. I'm actually need a new blow dryer, and I'm gonna look into the Dyson, but this has been a good blow dryer for me so far. So I'm gonna take my wet brush, and when it comes to extensions, you wanna think just like smoothing. Like you're constantly gonna wanna be smoothing it while you're blow drying it. So I use high heat just because that works better. And yeah, so I'm gonna blow dry it. So let me stop for a second. I'm thinking, and so I split the hair in half when I'm blow drying, and then you can see I'm combing it as I'm blow drying it, and I'm directing it over my head so the hair is blowing down. That's gonna smooth out your cuticle and make it so it's just lasts a lot longer. If you can get your blow dry right on the day you wash your hair, you can go so much longer. If you don't get your blow dry right when it comes to extensions, or even your, like if you don't have extensions, you're gonna find that you need to wash it sooner. So the blow dry is super important. I'm brushing over the weft. Like I said, you wanna make sure that up there you don't get matting and that's combed out really good, because if you don't, then that's gonna cause tangling, ratting, especially on the underneath. So I like to, I know not everybody does this, but I really like to make sure that that's smoothed out good. So I'm gonna, oh, and I'm splitting the hair in half. So I'm gonna work on this side, and then I'm gonna work on this side. So here we go.